What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft, how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are now arresting federal judges. If they don't like their ruling, they are subject to getting arrested. So this is Judge Hannah Dugan. She was just arrested by the FBI over her rulings on immigration. Wow. I guess this is the next big thing we're going to see under the Trump administration. Judges getting arrested. Mm-mm-mm. I'm going to show you a video and I will be right back with the rest of my commentary.
A judge in Wisconsin was arrested this morning at the very courthouse where she works. Joining us now is NBC's Tom Winter. Back with us is Tempedayo Oganga-Williams. So, Tom, what exactly happened here?
Right, so the details are still coming in, but the reporting comes from our colleague Mike Cosner at our Washington, D.C. bureau. He's reporting that Judge Hannah Dugan, who she's a Milwaukee County Circuit judge, was arrested this morning, quote, for allegedly assisting an undocumented immigrant in avoiding arrest after he appeared in her courtroom last week. Apparently, and by the way, we found out about all of this because the FBI director, Kash Patel, issued a tweet that has since been deleted. We're not sure why it was deleted, announcing this arrest and announcing these charges. And he said, quote, "We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien," his words, "to evade arrest," end quote. So we're still trying to get some of the details as to what this individual was specifically brought into court for, what charges they were specifically facing, and some of the details of this arrest. I checked, just as you were talking to our colleague Chris Jansing there in Rome, the docket in Wisconsin. The federal charging documents have not yet been unsealed in this particular case. That's not particularly unusual when an arrest happens, and sometimes it takes a while for that paperwork. And remember, there's a time difference as well to appear on the record. So again, still trying to get some details, but again, the arrest was apparently made at 9:30 Eastern time this morning. This follows, by the way, Jose, some similar types of incidents throughout the country where judges have been involved in some of these ICE cases. Just yesterday, the Suffolk County District Attorney in Boston, a democratically elected district attorney, issued a report actually chastising the judge that was involved in an immigration case there, saying the judge acted improperly after the judge accused ICE and prosecutors there of basically colluding together to get somebody who was about to face trial. A jury had just been impaneled to be removed by ICE. The district attorney's office did an investigation into that and actually rebuked what the judge said. So there's definitely some pushback in law enforcement circles. And one of the things that the Suffolk County District Attorney pointed to there, which may or may not be relevant in the Milwaukee case, in this judge that was just arrested and the judge that we've been speaking about, is this idea of the supremacy clause. Basically, ICE has the authority, because they're a federal agency, to conduct these arrests, whether or not it's in a local courtroom or not. And there have been different steps and different things that have been done over the years with respect to some of these arrests. And there's been a number of cases that have gone through this even all prior to this current Trump administration. So it's definitely an issue that I think everybody thought would reach a particular point. It appears that it has this morning in the case of this Milwaukee judge. We'll just have to see what charges are ultimately brought once that docket becomes unsealed.
Okay, so this judge is officially arrested, and she got arrested at the courthouse that she worked at. And Pam Bondi said there are more judges that will be placed under arrest. So I guess if you are sitting on the bench, you better not try to help an illegal because they're coming for you. Well, Donald Trump posted about a month ago the radical left judges could very well lead to the destruction of our country. These people are lunatics who do not care even a little bit about the repercussions from their very dangerous and incorrect decisions and rulings. The danger is unparalleled. So that's what he wrote. Around the same time, the president, who recently wrote that American courts are broken, rigged, and guilty of corruption. Isn't that amazing? Black people in this country have been saying that for probably centuries now. We have said the courts are corrupt. You don't get no real justice in these courts. The courts are rigged. We've been saying that forever. And it's amazing. It took you all this time to come to the same conclusion. So I guess kind of slow, right? So anyway, it's also used his platform. This is Donald Trump, an item from the right wing blog that read in part that when judges exceed their constitutional authorities by obstructing or overturning executive actions without legitimate constitutional grounds, they not only overstep their role, but may also commit acts of treason and sedition. Wow. So, they're just saying that there's many that agree with Donald Trump, and they're calling judges like Judge Dugan Marxist judges that must be stopped. Well, y'all, if you remember when Elon was still up at the White House, Elon was saying that when Donald Trump writes an executive order, it should not be overturned by any judge. It should stand. So, aren't they the ones not following the Constitution now? Boy, I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see how things play out if there's more judges getting arrested. Mm-mm-mm. So, anyway, Dugan faces charges of obstruction and impeding proceeding before a department or agency of the United States, as well as a charge of concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest. After the local jurist was arrested by the FBI, she made an appearance before a federal magistrate judge and was released on bond. So look like they are going to go after this judge. Mm-mm-mm. So it was Kash Patel's FBI that arrested her. So they go on to say, we believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, following the subject, an illegal alien to invade arrest. So they said she pretty much hid him up at the courthouse. So thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he has been placed in custody. And then they just go on talking about how they felt the judge obstructed, and it could cause danger to the public with her obstructing the ICE agents. So in the United States, we have a system of checks and balances. Really, we sure haven't seen that. I'm just saying, we haven't seen these checks and balances that y'all be talking about, and separations of power for damn good reasons. A senator made a statement, one that was too cowardly to say who they were. The president's administration arresting a sitting judge is gravely serious and drastic, and it threatens to breach the very separations of power. Make no mistake, we do not have kings in our country, and we are a democracy governed by laws that everyone must abide. Well, I tell you what, I ain't seen Donald Trump abide by one single law since he's been sitting in the Oval Office. But, that's the typical do as I say, not as I do. And, by the way, that doesn't work. If you're practicing that, you're already losing. That doesn't work. And so he sits there every day breaking the law, and the rest of us out here got to follow the law. We'll see how long that lasts, y'all, before the people start melting down over that. So anyway, y'all, Judge Dugan is now out on bond, but I'm sure there's going to be some hearings coming up for her. And we'll see who these other judges that they got in mind that will be arrested. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.